Yo, what is up everybody? Jump in here, and today I will be showing you a very cool video. This is going to be for Elder Scrolls Skyrim Dragonborn DLC. This will require you to actually have the DLC, and it will also require you to actually beat the main storyline of the DLC. And what this video is going to be about is, you've guessed it, respecking. I will be showing you some tricks, some tips, and also just some general exploits that you can do with this new option in the game. I'm really happy they put this in here because this is something this game really needed. But it is kind of crazy what you can do with this now. Alright, so the first thing is, I recommend if you want to use some exploits, become a vampire. I'm going to go ahead and show you right now that I am a vampire. Now you can do this through the Dawnguard DLC or just any general means that you want to acquire the vampire disease. Once you have the vampire disease, we're going to be doing that for a certain perk called Necromage, but I'll get into that later. Let me first start by showing you a very cool trick you can do now. Now, if you really want to save yourself some annoyance in this game, what I recommend to do is to invest some points into Experimenter. What this does is that this actually allows you to see all the effects of ingredients. So now that this respec option's here, we can exploit this somewhat. So I can now go through any of my ingredients I don't have the effects to and unlock them. This can save you a lot of time if you're like me and you sit on the wiki trying to figure out all these different things. So all you have to do is, early game, I would recommend to do this. Run here, beat this DLC, and get this option and take advantage of it, just so you can learn every effect that there is in the game. Now, because this becomes useless, these three perks become totally useless once you find all the effects, then you can just reset it now. So why not go for it early game and then reset it later? So that's exactly what you can do, and that's what I highly recommend. That was really funny. I got paralyzed for a second because I ate something that had that effect. Okay, now that we have done that, we can go ahead and respec this alchemy perk. Now, I've already taken the time to respec everything. I've only kept a couple things. So I would recommend you do that, but only after you become a vampire if you want to use the exploit. Now, the first thing that requires for this exploit is that you're going to need to get the perk Necromage. So let's go ahead and put some points into this. I do recommend Respite for a build. And then now we're going to go ahead and go up to Necromage. Now, Necromage is a perk that, what it says it does is all spells are more effective against undead, which is true. But if you are undead, like a vampire, this actually has some crazy effects. This will actually give you big bonuses. So I do recommend going for this because these effects will be applied once you respect. So it's really crazy, like for these certain perks. I'll go over that in a second. I'm just going to show you the general, like what this thing does, what Necromage does. Once you acquire it and you're a vampire, all you have to do is equip some items, and you can read the effects. It's like 49%. One-handed destruction costs 30% less. You get the idea. Now let's look at the active effect. If you look at the active effect, it's actually 61% and 37%. So it's actually a boost to that. And that comes from Necromage. That is the exploit that is very crazy in this game. And it only happens once you have it and you re-equip something. So, and you can see right here what this does as well. It has increased it quite a bit. So what we're going to be doing is that now that we can respec, if you take away all those, you have Necromage, there's going to be a lot of perks in this game that will actually grant you a bigger bonus after you put points into them. So let's go ahead and start with regeneration. This is 50% faster. That does actually improve with Necromage. Now for the most important one, and this is important later, Alteration. I highly recommend this for my build. I'm also going to be showing you my build in this if you want to get some tips from that. I highly recommend Astronaut. Now what this does, it says it absorbs 30% of all magic of any spells that hits you. Now, what's crazy is that because of the Necromage, that gets bumped up to 37.5%. So that's exactly what's going to happen here, and that's a fact. So I highly recommend to get Astronaut. It's very good. Spell absorption is extremely powerful because you can absorb everything but physical damage. And I mean everything. Everything in the game. And I'll get into that later when I start talking about spell absorption. Now for enchanting, I like to go for full enchanting pretty much. Now this does not get affected by Necromage. I'm about 100% on that. I don't think any of these actually get affected by Necromage. At least I don't really know. So don't expect that, but that's really not a big problem, because a lot of other stuff, or a lot of other really good stuff, gets affected by the Necromage. Alright, and I do like all of these enchantments because of the new enchantment that came in the DLC. If you guys got it, it's called Chaos Damage. It's all 3 element damage, so I do recommend doing that. It makes it better. Now for smithing, pretty simple. You can go any path you want. I like the heavier armors more, so I'm going to go down this field just so I can make Daedric and Dragon and everything else. But later on, I will definitely invest some points into smithing, but we'll get into that later. Now for heavy armor, because I like heavy armor. First one we're going to get is going to be conditioning. This is very important. It takes away the weight of the heavy armor. That's very good. Now this one right here is Tower of Strength, 50% less stagger while wearing heavy armor. This gets a boost. It goes up to 62.5%. Now for block, I don't mess with block. Two-handed, now I like two-handed. If you like one-handed, that's fine. Go for that instead. But I'm just going to go for Champion Stance and Devastating Blow. I believe Devastating Blow may get a benefit, but do never ever go for Great Critical Charge. This will glitch your swing, and it is a headache to deal with. So I'm really glad I used to have that. I'm really glad I was able to get rid of that with this respec option. Now, let's go ahead and do some archery. Now archery has a couple things in here that's really good that will get the benefit of the Necromage. The first one is Power Shot. That gets bumped up to 62.5%. This one as well, Quick Shot, gets bumped up to 37.5%. So as you can tell, this is kind of crazy. Let's keep going for Ranger. Ranger is extremely good if you like the bow, and the bow is my favorite weapon in the game, so I use the bow more than anything else. Now, if you want sneak or anything like that, you can do that. It's really up to you. I will be showing you some other stuff pretty much around the end of this. Now for speech. I think speech is very important just for merchant. This allows you to sell any item to any merchant. It's very good and becomes very handy. Now let's go ahead and let me show you my pickpocket. I didn't reset these, but I just do this for extra pocket, 100 carrying capacity. That is extremely good, so I do recommend that for a build. Now let's keep going to alchemy. Now that we have done the little trick I showed you where we have discovered every single effect, we can just go ahead and go up to Benefactor. That's pretty much as best as it goes. Once again, these are not, I believe those are not affected by Necromage. Alright, now let's go ahead and do Destruction. Now these are affected by Necromage. Let's do the Flames, the Frost, and the Shock. These all goes up to 62.5%, I believe. And these are very good for enchanting. That does matter. Respiration, I have 7 perks left right now, so now I have to decide what to spend them on. I'm pretty much done with my build, everything I really want, but I can go ahead and just invest into little minor things that I might kind of want. Now, one thing that's very important I did want to say is about Necromage. The reason why this is working is just like armor and effects. As long as you get these second, you get the Necromage Vampire first, then you apply for these, that's when you're going to get the bonus. But if you get rid of the Vampire Disease, you will lose the bonus, I believe. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and go into smithing just a little bit more because of the new DLC. If you have Advanced Armor and Elven Smithing, that will actually allow you to create some more of the new armors in the DLC, so I do like that idea. I'm also going to go ahead and go for... Actually, I might not go for that yet, but go ahead and max out Critical Shot. That's actually extremely good as well for archery. Don't know if that actually Critical Shot gets a bonus from Necromage. It could, but I really don't know. Also, I do like Restoration Dual Casting. That's very good. Now I have one more point. This is my pretty standard kind of build I like to do, and my final point will more likely go into Sweep. I do like Sweep for two-handed because I can hit every enemy in front of me, which is extremely good. Like I said, if you want one-handed, go for it. That's fine. I personally like two-handed, so you can figure out how to use your own perks if you were going to go for one-handed, because it does require just a few more perks if you want the dual wielding. Now, something very important. Now, as you may know, you can make extremely good armors and items and weapons. Now, if you are content to what you got, let's say that you go and you make them and all that kind of stuff, and you're done, you are cool with that. I actually recommend get rid of smithing, enchanting, and alchemy. You don't need it. If you have the weapons and armors, you don't need these. So you gotta remember that. So that's actually what I recommend. We can invest these points now into better skill, like actual combat skill points. So that's exactly what I'm going to do right now, because I have armor that I'm actually really happy with, and I don't really need to make more armor or enchant more items or anything like that, so you just don't need them anymore. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and figure out what we want to get now. I have 27 perks to spend, which is crazy, so you guys can invest this into magic or combat skills, whichever one you actually want. But one thing I do want to say, you do not want conjuration. I like illusion for the silent casting, but you do not want conjuration. The problem is I'm going to be showing you a 100% spell absorption ability that you can get in the game. The problem is that with conjuration, you can't do any summons. No summons. Now, you can actually get these if you want, the reanimations of the dead. But no summons, guys. That's the unfortunate part about it. Alright, now for illusion, I do actually like the silent casting. If you like to make a really amazing kind of stealth person, silent casting is very good. All spells you cast, including shouts, do not actually make any sound, so you can like whirlwind sprint around dungeons and not be caught. It's amazing. Also, investor is very good. You can actually exploit this as well, because obviously you can reset this and just invest in every store. That's really cool. Lockpicking, this could just make your... This is personally for me, because I just like to make everything a lot easier. So, to do that, I would say Locksmith is really good, and also Unbreakable is really good. And just to top it all off, let's go ahead and get Master Lockpicking. Like I said, if you really want to make the game a lot, because lockpicking is annoying. If you want to make the game not as at times, that is good. These other stuff right here, I don't really like this kind of. I don't really like them as much. So, all right, for sneak now, like I said, I really like sneak, especially if you make enchanted armors that can do some sneak stuff. You will never be caught ever. So I like to go for the full sneak. The only thing I don't go for is daggers. Although you could use daggers if you really wanted to. Now, alright, I have 3 perks left. I don't really know what to spend them on, so I'm not going to actually spend them on anything. I could maybe go for something like in two-handed or one-handed, whatever you guys want to get. I'm just not going to spend the last 3 perks. Alright, for my next step, I will show you how to get 100% spell absorption and not get hit by anything but physical attacks. Right now, I am going to be at the Astronaut Stone. This is a very good standing stone in the game. It gives you 50% spell absorption. Now, with the Necromage perk, that's going to be bumped up to 62.5%. Now, this is just south of Windhelm. I hope you could see that. If you have yet to found this, I hope you have by this point. But it bumps it up to 62.5%. So with the Astronaut perk, and it lies, believe me, that's a lie. It says 50%, but that is a lie. It's 62.5%. With the Astronaut perk, that's 37.5%. If you do the math, it's 100% spell absorption. So absolutely nothing in the game can hurt you besides physical damage. Now I have a perfect place to go to show this off, and I hope you will enjoy that. Alright, so I'm going to be at this fort. I know for a fact there's a lot of mages here, so I can just kind of show you like all the different crazy spell absorption I can do. Now, a couple things about spell absorption. Spell absorption, it actually will absorb so much in this game. It's crazy. First off, it absorbs, if you have 100%, it will absorb all spell damage, any type of spell damage. Dragon's Breath attacks, any of those. Poisons, all poisons, you just cannot be poisoned. Now, if you're a vampire, you get 100% immunity to poison anyway, so that's whatever. Also, you lose, you get 100% resistance to disease. As you can see, I'm taking absolutely no damage, only from the physical attacks from the daggers. But yeah, so you get 100% immunity to disease. Although, as a vampire, once again, you get that, so it's whatever. Enchanted weapons that the enemies have that they swing at you, you'll take the physical damage, but you will not take any of the enchanted damage. None of it. You cannot be debuffed in any way, so you can't. I mean, it's pretty crazy. Spell absorption is a lot of fun. Now, remember, this is kind of an exploit, so you can use it if you want. I like to be extremely overpowered. I find this game to be It's just kind of fun, like building. That's the thing I like to do. I like to build my guy to or my girl to be like extremely good. Now for some reason they're always fighting this guy up here. He never goes away. But I do like to build my person, and I like to make them extremely overpowered so that that's the fun part, is building them. Playing the game, that's fun too, but I mean, I work so hard to do all this kind of stuff. I want to have a payoff. So, I mean, it's really up to you if you want to use these techniques or not. But overall, though, you could still use. I hope I gave you some very useful tips for building your Skyrim character. That is something I wanted to do, because I wouldn't say my build's the greatest ever, but it's definitely extremely good, or at least it's effective to me. Also, the spell absorption is extremely nice. As you can see, this is the best example of it. Absolutely no damage. I can just stand still here and just go get me a cup of coffee, make me a sandwich, and come back, and I should be okay, as long as they don't all start game banging me with also, just to show you, this is on master difficulty, so but you know, as long as they don't game bang me, I should be pretty much okay. So yeah, I really hope this has helped you guys. You know, like, that was the intentions of this, and also, you know, just to show you some of my build and also all the other kind of stuff. And I really enjoyed the Dragonborn DLC. I think it's worth the money. I love this game so much that why not invest a little bit into it. I think that they actually kind of failed a little bit, or they missed some opportunities in the DLC to do some cool stuff like the werebears. But overall, I am extremely satisfied with it, so I would definitely recommend it to anyone out there. Alright guys, I really hope you have enjoyed this. Please give me a like. That would definitely help me out. And please subscribe to me for some pretty dope content. And like always guys, have a nice day.